Hi everyone, thanks so much for jumping on tonight and joining us for this month's online discussion forum. We have had a little bit of a late start due to technical difficulties, but you know what? This is how we are committed to connecting with you, especially when you aren't able to connect with us during standard working hours, or if you're not living in Darwin and you're out in Tennant Creek or Nhulunbuy. This is how we connect with you. So we made sure we made it work. Now, I'm actually really excited for this month's online discussion forum, particularly because a lot of you guys have seen a real trend coming up lately in terms of calls coming through about leaving care planning. And for a lot of you, you know I've said to you, we've got something in the works at the moment, so hold on, I'll be able to share something with you very soon. And I'm really excited tonight we do get to share that. And not only that, I have a very special guest with us tonight who's one of my favourite people, and she also happens to be my boss. So our CEO, Cheryl Schmidt, is with us tonight. And here, who I prepared earlier. And she's actually going to speak to us and share with us tonight everything about Homestretch, which again, for everyone that has been calling and saying they've got concerns about their young people in their care leaving care, this will speak into all of that. So I guess we might just jump straight into it, Cheryl. Sure. And we'll start off with, can you explain to everyone what exactly is Homestretch?
Thank you everyone for tonight's opportunity to explain what the Homestretch campaign is. Homestretch is a national campaign that the NT is a part of. I'm very honoured to be the co-chair of the NT campaign, along with Pam Marwood, representing the Larrakia Nation. So Homestretch is a campaign that we want to petition government to extend care for all young people who have been in the care system to the age of 21. That doesn't mean that you have to be in a continuous arrangement with the Child Protection Department, Territory Families, but it means that you have a range of entitlements that you are provided. And primarily it gives you the opportunity to stay at home and do what every other young person in Australia seems to do these days, and that's to stay home way longer than 18 years of age. We know that just simply extending the care to 21 provides significant benefits to young people. Yeah. Quite tragically, we know that within the first 12 months of many young people leaving care, 39% are homeless, 46% of boys and 22% of girls are in the criminal justice system, which is just sad, and 54% have mental health issues. So we know that even beyond the economical and financial benefits to the NT government, basically in a humanitarian way, this provides our young people the added support and benefits that they so rightly deserve.
Yeah, absolutely. And I often love hearing from you, Cheryl, when you speak about you yourself have children.
I do.
And you know, even at 18, you wouldn't expect to tell your children to just get home, to just leave home.
It is astonishing to think that when the NT government becomes a legal parent, that at 18 things end. Now we know that in the NT that the Territory Families have quite generous financial assistance. Yeah. However, it's not legislated and it's not a guarantee. It's not an absolute guarantee that these young people have afforded these whole range of wonderful opportunities. What we're asking for in an election is that the government make a stand and change the legislation, commit to the reform that these young people deserve. They didn't enter care on their own by their own choice, but we want them to exit empowered and strong and determined with the future that they chose.
Absolutely. And Cheryl, this has obviously come out of a lot of feedback that we get from our carers, our amazing carer advisory group who are watching right now, who are always constantly telling us, you know, our young people are scared. Can you tell us some of the stories that we hear from our carers exactly about this?
I think one of the greatest changes that we have seen, and it is an absolute hats off to Territory Families CEO Ken Davies, who committed to changing the process where if a young person turns 18, which in the Territory is in year 12, that they will have their care continue to be supported through to the end of year 12. And that was a significant step. What we're challenging though now is that these young people want to continue in education, want to stay with their families that they're being cared by. This provides that opportunity for them to do so. Yeah. We've had young people who even still to this day, a month out from turning 18 don't have a leaving care plan.
Yeah, right.
I didn't know what I wanted to be at 18, and this allows people to not know.
Yeah.
It allows those who do know to focus on their education and allow them to be bakers, mechanics, healthcare workers, to go on and do education without having to worry about surviving and existing with a roof over their heads or food in their bellies. It allows them to just continue to focus on their future, which they deserve to have.
Yeah.
Like every other young person who's 18.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we, as Cheryl said, Cheryl's the co-chair of this campaign, and very soon I'm going to ask her that even though we are co-chairing, we still need you, and Cheryl will tell us soon how you can help. But in the meantime, I just wanted to quickly say, if you have any questions while Cheryl's, telling us our call to action, feel free to write it in the comments box. Ask us any questions you like, particularly about Homestretch, but if you do have any other questions, feel free to ask that as well, especially while we have Cheryl on tonight, who could really speak into those questions. So while your questions are coming through, Cheryl, I want to ask, how can not just our carer members, but how can everyone watching, which we know is young people, family, friends, grandparents, parents, sisters, how can they all help with this?
It's a great question. We are formally launching the NT's Homestretch campaign next Tuesday. It'll be in the mall. So one, you can contact our office, get the details of where it will be, and come along and join us. It'll be a great event with some of the organisations. We've got 160 organisations who have stood up and signed the pledge to say, from an organisational perspective, they back this process. What we're looking for are people who have been caring, who particularly know the trauma that it can be for a 15-year-old to all of a sudden be faced with, wow, my clock's ticking, where will I go at 18? So there's 3 call to actions. You can contact our office at any time to provide us a testimonial. You can go onto our website. You can, if you had your e-news, which went out last week, there are links, there are hyperlinks to all of the call to action that you can do. But I would encourage people like Michael, who's joined us now, to come along on Tuesday and support the formal launch, where we call upon all of those who are coming up into an election to stand behind us. This is a really affordable, we're talking about 60 young people a year in the NT. We're not talking about tube stations. And those kids deserve the entitled actions and support of every other teenager who is coming through school in Year 12 in the NT.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Thank you so much, Cheryl. As Michael has even said, 18, they're still a child. Yeah. I'm only slightly over 18, and I'm still a child, so, you know.
I'm slightly slighter than 18, but I've had 4 young people that I've looked after and raised, and they're amazing young people. None of them left home at 18 because I couldn't make them. But aside from that, they definitely needed that extra time. I was not the same person at 18 that I was at 21. Just those extra 3 years are really vital to developing who we are. And it's great if you already know what you want to be when you grow up, but so many 18-year-olds just don't. And this allows them and affords them that opportunity to stay in a safe, caring, loving environment with their carers and make those decisions with them. So this will be a wonderful opportunity, and we're really campaigning to all of those people who are stepping up to be potential ministers in the next government, to stand up and commit to this reform that is needed across this territory.
Yeah. Awesome. So we do have a question from Michael Cheryl, and he's asked, when will Territory families start the transition if the care goes to 21?
I would still expect that, as per their current processes and practice guidelines, that they'll start engaging with the young person, if it's appropriate, at age 15. Again, from 18 to 21, it also allows the fluidity for the young person to maybe step away from the system that they've been involved with for often many, many years. So, and allows them to opt back in. So this is an opt-in and opt-out opportunity for young people. And I think a part of that is empowering them to know that they have control over their lives.
Yeah. So if you have any further questions, guys, while we have this time, while we have Cheryl, please continue to ask. While we are waiting for more of the questions, I really want to encourage you. Cheryl just mentioned earlier that the e-news went out last week. On there, it has our online training for the month, and we've opened up extra spaces for our Foundations of Trauma and Language Development training, so that for those, because it was really popular last month, and there's very limited spaces, but we have opened that up again. So if you are interested in any of that online training, please contact us on info@fkca.org.au so we can register you and get that started. We've had another question come through from Michael, and you want to know about permanent care orders. Michael, is there a specific, what exactly are you wanting to know about the PCO process? I guess is our question. Michael is one of our amazing carer advisory group members. So, you know, when you get to hear about these campaigns, and we say that it comes from the voice of the carers, someone who is always advocating for you guys is Michael as part of our carer advisory group, and always coming and sharing with us. You know, he's heard from his carer network and his peers. These are the problems us carers are facing right now, right here. How can you help us? And it's exciting to see, Cheryl, that Homestretch is born out of this.
Absolutely. Michael, I wouldn't see that there would be no continuation of support even if you had a PCO. So, but these are some of the actual policy details that it's a very good question. At this stage, the campaign is very much committed to just extending the care to 21 in all that it looks like. So whether it's a PCO or support until 21, these young people deserve either of these processes being in place.
Yeah. Michael's asked if that would still apply if the Homestretch goes ahead, permanent care orders.
I would absolutely think so, yes. Because it's about the support that the young person is entitled to. So that's why we're looking for legislative reform and not just a commitment on a case-by-case basis. It's a case-by-case basis is in many respects problematic. Victoria, for example, they've committed to Homestretch, but what they've said is they'll only offer these positions to 10%. Now, that to me is a lottery of unfairness. We don't want it to be on a case-by-case basis. We want these to be absolute entitlements that young people know that they can count on. So, and Territory families have a range of very generous support mechanisms. So for this, it's not hard to make it a legislative reform.
Yeah.
Commit to the young people.
Until we see this go ahead, Cheryl, for those people who are having problems right now and challenges with leaving care or unsure what supports are available to them after care, what would you suggest they do?
I would say give Mona a call. The leaving care, the transition from care, these are really essential documents, and these are essential conversations and discussions that young people should be engaged in and should be talking to and listening to.
Yeah.
So that's probably the most important thing. If you've got a young person from 15 to 18 and they haven't been engaged yet to have these conversations with Territory families, with their caseworkers, give Mona a call, give the office a call, and we can certainly encourage and facilitate those discussions because they are really essential in making sure that the young person is prepared and ready for life beyond care.
Yeah, so great. So there you have it tonight, guys. Homestretch. You've been asking what is it all about, and we've been lucky to have Cheryl with us here tonight to explain that. Cheryl, before we leave, do you have anything else that you wanted to share with our carers while we are here, whether it's about Homestretch or whether it's about coming to see us and say hello?
I think I'd like to just have a big shout out just how proud the association is and how proud I am of the team during the COVID-19 crisis that we all went through, the lockdown, the social isolation that everyone went through. We made over 260 calls. We reached out to our carer members. I'd like to do a big shout out to my team. They worked phenomenally during this time. We were all working from home. So, and I think the foster and kinship carers out there need to be applauded. You really stood up and really led the community for which we represent. We represent you, and we are really proud to see how we came together. We reached out and supported each other, and I think that was just amazing. So great work.
Yeah, definitely. Great work, team. Cheryl, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We've loved having you. Everyone, again, sign the pledge. It will be in the description box. Just follow the link, sign it, and also share your story. And hopefully we get to see you next Tuesday. Have an amazing night, and message us if you need anything. Bye, everyone.